Now, here's a concept that I bring up, and I bring it up in conversations, and I bring it up any woman I talk to. And since I bring it up with any woman I talk to, I'll just say it on here because it's just one of those things that I really stand by it. If you ain't my bitch, you can't be my woman. If you ain't my nasty bitch, you can't be my woman, right? Now, why do I say it? Why do I put it into those terms? Because for a woman, the idea of being a man's girlfriend, being his wife, being the woman that he holds dear to, being put on that pedestal is something that puts her into such a frame of mind that it validates her ego. It's like having a promotion at a job, right? It's like going to a job and then being jumped immediately to the position of being a manager, being somebody who's in a lead position, who's a team lead. Even if you're not fully qualified for that position, even if you don't adequately respect and understand the lower levels of the different things that it takes to fully perform in that position, just the fact that it's a higher position than what you're used to getting, or because that's what you're used to getting, you feel entitled to that. One thing I really emphasize is this. You know, in order to avoid a woman being masculine submissive with you, which is just simply cooperative and nice, instead of being feminine submissive, which is being truly submissive, your program has to be something that stretches a woman. And there's different ways to stretch a woman. You stretch a woman with domination, right? And what I mean by that is this. When a woman's truly feminine and submissive with you, then how do I put it? The delivery doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. If anything, having a delivery that is too cookie cutter, speaking to her in a way that is commonly accepted and seen as respectful in her eyes and the eyes of other people in a way that she would want other people to speak to her, is her letting you know that she doesn't value or respect you and your opinion above how she sees and views other people. A woman being feminine and submissive with you is a position to where she's disrespecting other people about how she prefers you, right? If a woman's feminine and submissive with you, right, truly, she could have another man that could even be her man, but she will disrespect him to get an opportunity to listen to what you say to get some of that dick. She will ignore people. She will reject people harshly. She will do things that will be disrespectful to other people in order to show her preference for you. Now, something to understand about this whole concept. Like, you can't be listen, you can't be my housewife if you ain't my hoe. It's like playing horse, right? It's like playing horse. If you ain't my hoe, you can't be my housewife. And you got to be able to say that, know that, believe that, and desire that. There's a difference between a woman desiring you versus a woman desiring to be yours. It's two different things. It's two different things. A woman can desire the validation of wanting to be with you without desiring to belong to you. And there are women out there that they're so attracted to you, they're so enthralled with you, that your program, who you are as a man, how you make them feel is just something to where they want to belong to you. They'll give up a certain level of power. They'll give up a certain level of this idea of what it means to be respected. They'll throw that shit to the wind. They'll throw caution to the wind. This includes sexually, this includes non-sexually. But the thing to understand about feminine submissive women is that when she feels that way about you, that's what she desires the most. You have to think about things sometimes on the level of, what is the purpose of having close friends? Some people are people pleasers. Some people have relationships that are for the purpose of just having someone who is companionship that's around them because they're lonely. But I believe that part of the reason that you build a close connection with somebody is so that you're in a position to tell them things that other people aren't in a position to tell them. That's a different way of looking at it. Some people get so caught up in the idea of respect that they conflate their psychological reactance with actually being disrespected. So if I were to think about, what does it mean to be my bitch? What does that mean to be my bitch? To me, being my bitch means that you look up to me, that you desire me on a level to where if I say or do things that go against your social programming, that turns you on even more. You know, I've had women in my lifetime to where there is nothing I could do or say to them that they would take or feel was disrespectful. That's when a woman's feminine and submissive with you, right? That's not because the woman doesn't respect herself, because she has those standards and boundaries towards other women. Towards other men, towards other people. She doesn't want people to talk to her a specific way. There's a difference between a woman who doesn't value herself, right? And a woman who, there's a difference between a woman who doesn't value herself, right? And she's just in a low place to where she doesn't see any self-worth in herself, versus a woman who values herself but just values you more than that. Understand what I'm saying? And some people see that as an issue. But most of this healthy relationship shit is really all about that. Most of this healthy relationship shit is all about a man denigrating and watering down and diluting his own dominance so that he can be in a position with a woman where he puts his dominance to the side to make her comfortable, because he values her more than he values himself. People not gonna tell you that. People not gonna tell you that. Like, to me, there's a certain place that you get to, right? There's a certain place that a woman gets to in her femininity and submissiveness with a man, to where things that would feel abusive in other situations, in other relationships, will be things that turn her on the most. And you have to make sure that that is something that extends outside of the bedroom. I know people talk about dom sub dynamics, and people like to get online and talk about how the way things were done on 50 Shades of Grey, oh, that's not right. That's not right. A real dom sub dynamic. Most of the time when people talk about a dom sub dynamic, that's just a dude who has a masculine submissive woman when it comes to, you know, she'll be feminine submissive in the bedroom, but she's masculine submissive. You know, every single thing they want to do sexually is explained ahead of time. There isn't no type of blanket consent. It's, okay, is this something that you want to do? Do you want to do this? No, when a woman is feminine submissive with you, she treats you like her body is your property. It don't matter if she's talking to somebody. It don't matter if she's in a relationship. It don't matter if that goes against her religion. It doesn't matter if it goes against her social programming. Her social programming isn't a factor when it comes to you. You can have her do whatever the fuck you want her to do, right? Because she trusts and respects and desires you on a level to where she just knows that whatever you want to do to her is something she's going to enjoy. You know, there's women I dealt with to where how I would deal with them is like this. Like, when I have my submissives, because I don't deal with a woman outside of a dom sub dynamic. When I have my submissives, there's not a time that I see them without putting my hand around their throat. You get what I'm saying? And when I put my hand around their throat, I just see this look of admiration, this look of desire, this smile that pops up on their face. This look of always, like, when I make that eye contact, I start staring at them. And they'll look for a few seconds and they'll try to engage a little bit, but then they'll just get shy. They'll get nervous. They'll start looking away. And then immediately they be horny. And what you got to understand as a man is that your dominance is a drug. You don't need to be dealing with a woman who's not addicted to that drug. Because if it's not something that gets that woman high, it's going to be something that drains that woman dry. Right? If your dominance doesn't get that woman high, it drains that woman dry. So, you know, one thing I really emphasize is that you want to avoid situations where a woman is just masculine submissive with you, because it's going to lead to a place where you're probably feminine dominant, right? Which means that the things that you want her so much that you're going to be manipulating her. You want her so much that you're going to do things that you have to do things that will be considered abusive in order to keep her interested, to keep her enthralled. You could be playing games, right? You're going to have to cheat on her or some shit like that. Because if you're a dominant man, her sex drive's not going to be up where yours is at. And she's not always going to be comfortable with you having other women, right? What you got to understand is that when it comes to masculine submissiveness, that's just cooperation. I'm on some dom shit to where I like full submission. I like a woman who gives herself over to me, right? I like a woman who, whatever I say fucking goes. And that's how I live my life. And when you understand that aspect of things, you understand that when your mindset is you really on some dom shit, then you deal with women who desire that domination. You deal with women who desire to be pushed to their limits, to have their boundaries crossed, to have their limitations pushed, because that pushing and that stretching is what grows them. That pushing and that stretching is what helps them get to a level that they didn't expect before. It's like if you're having sex with a woman, right? One example of that could be, if you're on the larger side, I'm on the larger side. If you're on the larger side, when a woman's truly feminine and submissive with you, hitting on her cervix is something that, it may hurt. Yeah, it may hurt, but it stretches her. That pain mixes with the pleasure, and it makes the pleasure even more intense. I've had times where I be having sex with a woman, and she might be grabbing on her stomach because it's just hitting her in the stomach. It's just, it's hitting on her cervix. It's hitting in her stomach. She's feeling that shit deep, and it hurts. But then as soon as I hit that spot, like if you ain't never had a woman to where you hitting on her cervix, and as soon as you hit it, it's like a nut button. Her whole body gets to shaking. And then she does it again. And then she does it again. And then she does it again. She has no social battery, right, when it comes to you. She has no limits when it comes to you. Because if you say jump, that bitch gonna ask how high, right? That's what I'm talking about right here. A lot of guys, they don't have that experience with women. And the thing is this is what I tell guys, right? This is what I tell guys. You got to take out that mindset of having a Madonna whore complex. You have to take out that mindset of seeing a woman's boundaries as static. Boundaries are not static, they're dynamic. It's going to depend on where she's at in her cup and how she views you as a man, how you present yourself. That's what it's going to depend on. So if you're with a woman and you're like, oh no, she wouldn't go for that. No. You'd be surprised, nigga. You'd be fucking surprised. You'd be surprised. There's been women I dealt with who they had boyfriends for years at a time. They wouldn't allow their boyfriend to do a fraction of the shit that they did with me, or did for me in a fraction of that time. They wouldn't allow that because they weren't attracted enough to them. They didn't desire them enough. They didn't respect them enough as a man. Those men were dominant enough to get that type of response out of them. So, from the outside looking in, from a woman who's never experienced what I'm talking about, she gonna think it's abuse, right? Some of the shit I do from the outside looking in, somebody said, oh no, that's wrong. That's disrespectful. No, listen, this bitch like that. She likes that. She enjoys it. She craves it. If I'm not doing that, then she gonna miss it. I've had sex with women before where I might have said, shut up. Just being on the nicer side, right? And then later on they'd be like, why didn't you tell me to shut the fuck up, right? There's been times where I'll be having sex with a woman, I'll smack her, right? But I'm not smacking her because I'm mad. I'm not mad. But I'm smacking her because there's this feeling that a woman gets where just being stretched in that way, being pushed to her limits, having certain experiences, is she is looking for that opportunity to have those experiences. Something within a woman desires to have those experiences that push her beyond her social mask, push her beyond her social programming, that take her to a place that she wouldn't be comfortable going with anybody but you. And when a woman gets to have those experiences, there's a certain way she's connected to that a woman who loves you is not going to be connected to you on the same level. That woman could love you, she could not love you. But because it's you, the way she responds to that situation is different. So you just got to understand that. You just got to understand that shit. So this Brody, I'm out.